From a young age, Jason Heath developed a fascination with greyhounds that led him to becoming one of the top trainers at Hove, and a job that he loves.
My parents used to take me to Portsmouth when I was like 8 or 10. I loved it, and it's my brother that really sort of got me into it. He always owned dogs, and he ended up working in a kennels for John Copplestone. So I can remember going to his kennels when I was young, and they had its own schooling track then, and I just used to watch the dogs go round. And so it was sort of, from then on, it's sort of like I was always involved in greyhounds. And I still remember as a kid, looking through the greyhound magazines at the stud dogs and stuff in the late 70s and stuff. And so I always had an interest for it, yeah.
But you also had a career, luckily a career that afforded you to be able to buy a dog, and ownership led you to your first job in greyhounds with not a bad trainer.
Yeah, my brother said to me, I think I was about 18, he said, look, do you want to get a dog? And I went, well, yeah, go on then. So I said, who's going to train it? And he said, well, there's a lad just starting at Portsmouth, he's meant to be quite good. I said, all right. And he said, yeah, he's called Graham Holland. So I went, oh yeah, fine, we'll go for it. And the dog went to Graham and got to know Graham. And over the years I sort of started getting a bit more involved, and he'd give me a bit more to do. And then the odd day turned into weekends, and it just sort of snowballed from there really. And it wasn't really until he sort of said to me one day, he said you could do this job, he said. And I went, oh right. And he said, yeah, you'd be quite good at it, I think. He said, oh. So then he sort of sowed the seed, and sort of from then on I thought, right, I'm going to have a go at it, and this is where we are now.
Well, you took another couple of jobs in the meantime when Graham went to Ireland, but then when the opportunity came up at Hove 14 years ago, I think fair to say you bit Peter Miller's hand off.
Yeah, it was always on the understanding with Peter Miller. He was always happy for me, because I went to Tony Lucas after I was involved with Graham, and Peter Miller was always happy I was going to take over, so that was always going to be the thing. And Lance Burford, who had all the Iceman dogs at the time, he set up his own kennels, and he asked me if I wanted to go up there and do the dogs for him. And I went back to Peter Miller and said, look, if I went, would it jeopardise me ever having a job back at Hove? And he said, no. He said, you crack on and do what you got to do. So I did, and then 6 or 8 months later, he rang me up out of the blue and said, there's a job here if you want it. He said, there's kennels in Kent. It's yours if you want it. And I thought, crikey, And then, it was tough to get in a Hove. You had to be a certain sort of person, and your standards had to be high. And if you got the job at Hove, you'd made it. And I couldn't believe it. And I sort of rang my mate up, Matt Hughes. I said, look, Matt, I've got the job at Hove. What are we going to do? I said, I've got no money, got no dogs. What are we going to do? And we sort of worked out some sort of business plan that sort of, we thought, well, we're going to struggle to make this pay, And but in the end, we thought, well, we went for it. We went half each, put our money in, and it worked out well.
Oh, and you've really gone from strength to strength, and now you're based here, just on the Surrey borders with Sussex, in a beautiful place. You've worked with some of the best people, and you still have really good relationships with the likes of Graham Holland. What would you say is important in training greyhounds?
The most important thing for me really is, you can have the best kennels, the best gallops, the best paddocks, but if you don't know their lane, you're going to struggle. So for me, the most important thing is you got to get your head round basic understanding of the injuries, the popular injuries, because if they're going into the traps lane, you're going to struggle, So for me, obviously the feeding's important and routine is important, but you've got to get your head into the injury side of it, and just try and pick people's brains and just learn as much as you can about the injuries.
You do have the facilities here, though, to help you out with all that. Beautiful paddocks, like the one we're standing in now, where the dogs can stretch their legs. A gallop that you say you use every day, treatment room. It's got everything you need.
Yeah, it has. Obviously, you don't want the dogs getting bored either, so we alternate the dogs in as part of their routine, all in different paddocks, so they all get out to stretch their legs. And we've got the gallop, and we've got a field, and we've got lovely walks, and between between the lot of it, we sort of managed to keep them happy and stimulated. Yeah, it's great.
Which is really important for dog and trainer.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You and I have been chatting off camera, and you're very much a man who likes to have a life away from greyhounds. You're here 6 days a week, but you have wife and 2 children who have nothing to do with the sport.
Nope.
You like playing golf, albeit with Mr. Wallace. I'm sure you talk dogs a little bit.
Yeah.
Time away is important to you.
Yeah, it is. I work 6 days a week. My family aren't, obviously they support me, but they're not really into it. So I sort of go home and switch off, which I think is real important. Not like most greyhound trainers, I'm not guilty for having a day off a week. I'll have a game of golf and I'll do a bit of fishing, and yeah, it's so important. I need me golf, and I need to go and fishing and switch off a bit. Yeah.
Because it can be a tough sport. Again, we've been talking about things that are said. You found it hard at times, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it is hard. You get attached to these dogs, and you never really you try to switch off, but you go on holiday and you're looking at the results. It's just you never switch off, and there isn't one dog in that kennel I'm not attached to, and you worry about them, and I know it's part of it, and but yeah, you never switch off from it. And saying that, I wouldn't swap it for the world either. So yeah, I love it.
You don't get completely away from it when you go home, because you have got one on your sofa.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, we got Street Lane. He was a real good dog for us. He got to the final of the Golden Crest at Poole, and he got knocked over in the final, unfortunately. And I had to pass my house to get to the kennels, and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to drive back late. So I took him home, and he's been at our house ever since. So yeah, he's smashing. We lost without him.
You've come from being lift operator
Yep.
to one of the top trainers at Hove, that's for sure. Where does this go? Where do you want it to go?
I'm happy where I am, to be honest. I can make a living out of doing sort of what I want. There's never a morning I don't want to come here. Obviously, we won a Category 1. We won the Regency. Everyone wants to win the Derby, but if I could win the TV trophy, then I'd get out of this game a happy man. Yeah.
That's the ambition. Why the TV trophy?
It's just fascinated with stayers. I know some people want pace and stuff like that, but the further they go, the better for me. It's just I'd just love to win the TV trophy. Yeah.
Was winning the Regency the highlight of your career so far?
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily. My wife and daughters don't really get involved, and that was the first meeting my daughters went to, and we won the Regency, so they think it's like that all the time, But yeah, it was a fantastic night, and yeah, we got quite emotional. We still do now, So yeah, it was a fantastic night. Yeah.